Wife staying with a cheating husband after being exposed? Stay with a cheating spouse. Why? Just to preface, I was in my early 20s, and the husband is in his early 30s. Half of the time I was trying to rationalize why a man would be cheating in the first place with someone he claimed to love. He said the way he acts/thinks happen, just because, and I'm like, that's a cop-out answer to not using his brain. Then I realized he just had problems with himself, and in his relationship he didn't feel comfortable sharing with his wife, so he used me instead. A woman, me, about 10 years younger than his wife. He doesn't like the idea of female friends because he can never be platonic with them and thinks conversations with women are a waste of time. I'd be one of his fewest female friends, and more until that ended. But he only loves his wife, supposedly, and his mom. Oh, also he said, "I love you," to me after 3 months, which messed me up astronomically. Convinced me to not tell his wife he was cheating because it would hurt her. Wanted to be with me, and her knowing his wife isn't poly. Made me feel more self-conscious in how I felt, acted in some ways, dressed. Oh, and also he said he knows men that cheat on their wives, and they say that's one of the reasons for a successful marriage. I wish I was lying about any of this. I ended up liking him too much because I tried to make a friendship that wasn't there. He's an all-or-nothing man. Because of it, I played into trying to force a friendship, stupid, because I was finding a scapegoat to resolve my own insecurities, and we did things I was not proud of. We actually had good convos, and I'm used to having male friends anyways, especially older ones, so it wouldn't be any different for me. This whole experience was the first of its kind and out of character for me on this severity, and don't expect any hype for my actions. He'll never know this now, oh well, but I was tipsy when we had our last set of texts. I basically told him he doesn't like women and he uses them, which he has said himself before, but I assured him I was feigning for approval, SMH. But now me turning the tables to say the same thing to him, he got defensive, said I was childish and blocked me. Ever since, though, I have healed and drastically changed the way I set proper boundaries. Sparkles. Anyways, I felt it was right to expose the cheating husband to his wife, partly because of selfish reasons of being played by a married man, yikes, but also if I was in the wife's shoes, I just want to know. She stayed. I had a lot of proof of him expressing his attraction towards me. Wife told me he lied about it when being confronted about cheating, then apologized half-heartedly. Not surprised. So then, why stay? Maybe it's trying to make it work for the children. Maybe it's the financial security, process, and reputation of divorce itself, etc. But knowing that there are people out there that are together after being cheated on, especially multiple times, assuming no harm is occurring, is diabolical. I think what bothers me most, aside from his business doing decent, is I believe that this man doesn't truly love his wife, but she loves him. Or they love their child the most because the wife's pregnancy was hard, and that process made them grow closer. The husband has alluded to that, and I remember him saying he wouldn't feel as bad cheating on her if they didn't have a child. He loves how she isn't a club-goer, doesn't show off her body too much, is really kind. A people pleaser, and I know I am a recovering one. That seemed a little superficial to me, but I digress. He said time and time again that he doesn't deserve her. And it's true, because there were times where he was jealous of my male friends/coworkers. I'm like, bruh, you're literally cheating on your wife, and you're worried about who I'm hanging out with platonically, lol, which he's not even capable of doing. Maybe I am a hypocrite because I tolerated his red flags in the beginning when he pursued me, and I was insecure enough to challenge my morals in getting to know this man. But also I still have enough morals to know what's wrong and what's right. I really have minimal sympathy for the parents at all except for their son. This may sound harsh and biased, but looking back on it, all I see is a narcissist feeding on endless supply that's bound by a miracle son who may grow up just to resent them. After all of this, I learned it's necessary being more honest in a non-people-pleasy way with people as soon as possible to minimize the heartache and time wasted in fostering dead flowers. I would not live either myself if I was in a marriage where I can't trust my spouse or be respected, period. Let alone have a child with him. Even though it was emotional damage and definitely a fair round of karma, I'm glad I see what I don't want in a marriage. Now to the next story, Story 2. Emotional cheating. Partner entertains other women. It isn't ever anything physical, but it is definitely weighing on me. Any advice? I am 23, F, and my partner is 24, M. For context, my partner, we'll call him Dean, had a very traumatic childhood incident that was never addressed. He never got help. I don't think either of his parents know. His parents split when he was young, and the incident has only become more apparent as of recently. I have recently talked him into going to therapy and counseling. He has not gotten a first appointment scheduled yet. He also has issues with overindulging in alcohol due to this previous incident. To the main point now, Dean is impulsive and likes to entertain other women when he gets into a depressed state. What he said on voice messaging also transcribes to, "Good morning, beautiful, I love you. I know you're feeling sick, but you're gonna do awesome coaching and you're gonna get through the day strong. And no matter what, I'll try and talk to you as much as I can. But seeing your face this morning, me and my day started out really, really great. So, hopefully that makes you feel a little better. But I'm glad you loved your movie last night. That also made me happy because I was a little worried you weren't gonna like it. But be strong. You're strong and I know you can get through anything. I'm always here for you and talk to you soon. I doubt it will be the last time I see him messaging other women if I stay. The main thing I am struggling with is if I need to leave him or if I should stay. We have a son together. He is young, roughly a year. I know I don't deserve to be put on a back burner. It felt like all day he was just picking on me and getting mad at me for asking, or better yet, expecting help. I was preparing a large meal for a dinner party and our son is walking now. So, I asked him to watch our son so that I could finish. He was preoccupied with playing video games, drinking, and hanging out with friends. So, of course, if I said anything, I was overreacting. I do everything I can for this family. I work full-time and pay most of the bills. I go to school full-time, just need 6 more credits to get my bachelor. I watch our son any other time aside from when I have to go into the office, which is only 3 days a week. I am drained. When I read the content in the photo, when I heard it really because I played the audio and heard it all in his voice, I didn't even have it in me to cry. All I could do was shake. It's like all my adrenaline kicked in, and I couldn't stop. This was the only recent message. Everything else was deleted, but they knew each other from before. He posted a picture of our son, and she commented. From there, they kept secretly messaging. For anyone wondering, yes, I looked through his phone, but it was practically right there on Snapchat. I know it's a toxic thing to do. I just knew he was hiding something. The way he treated me and the way he was acting. It's like that gut instinct that wakes you up in the middle of the night. I know I don't deserve to deal with this, but I don't know what to really do. We have a child together. Our home is in both our names. We don't have joint accounts. When I confronted him, he thought I wanted space, so he packed a small bag and left. He just gets to up and leave all of his responsibilities. Of course, his friends are calling him to come over and hang out in the midst of this. Even when they knew what was going on, they were friends heading out from the dinner party. It feels like everyone shelters him from taking accountability and responsibility of his actions. I did get apologies from him. He owned up to it. It's a hard thing to deny it when you're showed the proof, though. But it's like, why do I have to be the one to fix this? It's like he gets to drink to excess and mope around the next day because he feels like crap, and I have to be the one to hold it together for our son. Part of me wants to stay for our son, but part of me wants to leave and get out to make a better life for myself. Any advice? I cheated, and it ended up positive. TLDR. I cheated on my ex of 4 years with a guy who was only in the country for the summer. I married the guy with whom I cheated, and we have been together for 12 years, and we have our 10th wedding anniversary this November. While I did something horrible, I met the love of my life, and I have been with him ever since. I was with my end-of-high-school college boyfriend for 4 years. Things had fizzled out those last 6 months, but we were a great couple before that. At the time, I was 20 F, and he was 22 M. Then the summer of 2012 came around and I met this guy. He was 21 at the time. He was only here for the summer, We started hanging out with a random group of people working in the childcare field. I was a nanny and he was a British football/soccer coach. Soon, we started hanging out alone. The new guy was wonderful and we talked for hours upon hours. Nothing physical happened, not at first. It was nearly the end of the summer of 2012, and then that was when we had our first kiss. He went back to the UK a couple of weeks later, but not before my ex found out. I lived in my parents' basement at the time. The ex was chilling in my room and I was showering. An email popped up from the new guy to have me print his travel documents back to the UK. The ex saw it. He walked upstairs and handed the key he had to our house to my parents. My parents were confused and he just told them to ask me. That was a super fun conversation because they loved and trusted him enough for a key to their house. The new guy and I weren't really because he went back to the UK. He was in the state in the summer of 2013 and then had to go back to the UK. In winter 2013, we found out that he qualified for an H-2B visa, which is a 3-year work visa. That's when things go serious between us. We moved in together and got married shortly after. We are coming up on our 10th anniversary in November, and we are still going strong and are so happy together. I am now 33 and my husband is 34. However, the outcome of finding a lifelong partner has been amazing. I love my husband and we have so much more in common. We blend perfectly together, and I am so glad I have him in my life. My husband and I are child-free. Child-free is the active decision to not have children. Childless is wanting kids and not being able to have them for a variety of reasons. I know if I stay with my ex, he is traditionally Catholic, and he comes from a family where people have 4+ children. I know I would have been pressured into having kids, even though I have always known I don't want children. Things aren't perfect with my husband, but they are pretty darn close. I do my best to not regret things in life. I learn from them and move forward. However, cheating on my ex is the only thing I do regret. He was, and I assume still is, a very good person and did not deserve to be treated so horribly. I owe him a million apologies, which I am unlikely to ever express to him. He deserved more respect. That is the worst thing I have ever done, and I do regret it. I have no excuse for the choices I made. I knew they were wrong, and I still actively made that choice that ultimately hurt someone that not only I, but my immediate family truly loved and cared about. It was a shitty thing to do,